Cancer, before we begin, take a slow breath and allow yourself to step away from the noise around you. August 11th carries a deeply emotional energy for you, but it also brings something you may have been missing lately: clarity. You may have been feeling that something in your life is changing, even though you couldn't explain exactly what it was. Perhaps a relationship feels different. Perhaps your career no longer feels as secure as it once did. Perhaps money has been on your mind more than usual. Or maybe you've simply had that strange feeling that something is about to happen. The tarot suggests that your intuition is not imagining everything. There is movement around you, but the most important development may begin inside you before you see it happening outside. Cancer, you have a habit of carrying emotions quietly. You may tell people that you're fine even when your mind is full of questions. You often protect the people you love, sometimes without realizing that you are putting your own feelings aside. August 11th asks you to stop doing that for a moment. Ask yourself what you actually need, not what your family needs, not what your partner needs, not what your coworkers expect. What do you need? That question may become surprisingly important today. The cards suggest that something you've been emotionally holding onto is beginning to lose its power. Could be an old disappointment, a conversation that never received closure, person you still think about, or a fear about the future. You may suddenly realize that you don't have to carry it anymore. And that realization could feel almost like taking a deep breath after holding it for too long. There is also an unexpected element around August 11th. Something may happen that you didn't plan for. You could receive a message from someone you weren't expecting to hear from. A family member may bring unexpected news. A person at work could change your plans. Or an opportunity may appear at a time when you were focused on something completely different. At first, you may feel uncertain about whether to welcome this development. The tarot says, don't make an immediate judgment. Give it time. Sometimes what feels disruptive in the beginning becomes the exact thing that moves your life forward. Let's look at your career, because the energy here is stronger than you may realize. Cancer, you've probably been more capable than you've given yourself credit for. You may have been doing difficult work quietly, solving problems behind the scenes, helping other people, and keeping things together even when nobody thanked you. But August 11th suggests that someone is noticing. A supervisor may recognize your effort. A colleague may ask for your help with something important. A client could return with new business. Or someone may mention an opportunity that you weren't aware existed. Don't be shy about showing what you can do. You don't need to brag. You simply need to stop hiding your abilities. If you're looking for a new job, this could be a useful day for networking and communication. A person you know casually could become surprisingly important. Maybe an old colleague contacts you. Maybe someone recommends you. Maybe a conversation over coffee leads to an opportunity. The tarot reminds you that not every door opens through a formal application. Some doors open because someone remembers how reliable you were. For Cancer who already have a job, you may be thinking about whether your current position still gives you enough emotional and professional satisfaction. You don't necessarily need to make a sudden decision. Instead, observe. What is changing around you? Who is being promoted? What new responsibilities are appearing? What skills are becoming more valuable? The answers may help you understand where your career is heading. There is also a message about boundaries. You may have been doing too much for other people, helping everyone, answering every message, taking responsibility for problems that aren't actually yours. August 11th reminds you that being supportive doesn't mean becoming exhausted. You can be kind without sacrificing your peace. And sometimes saying no is not selfish. It is necessary. Now let's talk about money. Financially, the tarot shows a day of awareness rather than reckless risk. You may receive useful information about your finances. A delayed payment could move closer. You might discover a way to reduce an expense. Someone could offer you an additional source of income. Or you may finally make a decision about something you've been postponing. The important thing is to stay practical. Cancer, your emotions can sometimes influence your financial decisions. When you're stressed, you may want to spend money to create comfort. When you're worried, you may become overly cautious. August 11th asks you to find the middle ground. Look at the facts. Know what you have. Know what you owe. Know what you actually need. And don't make a financial decision simply because someone makes you feel pressured. There may also be a small financial surprise. For some Cancer natives, it could be money arriving unexpectedly. For others, it could be a chance to save money or avoid an expense. And for some, the surprise may be discovering that a skill they already possess could become an additional source of income. Think about what people often ask you for help with. What are you naturally good at? What knowledge do you have that others don't? That could contain a clue. The cards also warn against lending money impulsively. If someone asks you for financial help, don't let guilt make the decision for you. Helping someone should not put your own stability at risk. Now, Cancer, let's move toward love, because this is where the emotional energy becomes especially strong. If you're single, August 11th may bring a moment that touches your heart unexpectedly. You may meet someone through work, family, friends, or an ordinary everyday situation. It may not look like a dramatic romantic encounter. In fact, it could feel completely normal. But something about the person's energy may stay in your mind afterward. Maybe they make you feel comfortable. Maybe they listen carefully. Maybe you notice that you don't feel the need to pretend around them. That is important. You don't need someone who creates emotional chaos. You need someone who makes you feel safe enough to be yourself. For Cancer who are already in a relationship, there may be an important conversation. Something you've been keeping inside may finally need to be expressed. Don't wait until your emotions become overwhelming. Speak while you are calm. Explain what you feel. And listen to what your partner is trying to tell you. There is a possibility that both of you have been misunderstanding each other simply because neither person wanted to be vulnerable first. One honest conversation could change that. For some Cancer, a person from the past may also reappear. This could be unexpected. Maybe you receive a message. Maybe you see their name. Maybe someone tells you something about them. The tarot doesn't necessarily say that you should return to the past. Instead, it asks you to notice how you feel. If the memory no longer hurts the way it once did, that's progress. You don't need to reopen an old chapter simply because someone knocks on the door. Sometimes closure is simply realizing that you no longer want what you once wanted. Family energy is also strong. Someone close to you may need emotional support. You may find yourself becoming the person everyone turns to. But remember, Cancer, you are not responsible for making everyone happy. You can listen. You can care. You can support. But you are allowed to protect your own emotional energy too. There is a deeper spiritual message surrounding August 11th. Your intuition may be unusually strong. You might think of someone moments before they contact you. You might have a dream that feels unusually vivid. You could notice repeating numbers. Or you may walk into a situation and immediately sense that something is different. Pay attention. But don't let fear control your interpretation. Your intuition is meant to guide you, not frighten you. There is a difference between intuition and anxiety. Intuition tends to feel quiet. Anxiety feels loud. If something inside you is calmly saying, "Wait, listen." If your mind is creating 10 different disaster scenarios, take a step back. You don't have to believe every thought that passes through your mind. By the middle of the day, you may receive information that changes your perspective. Something you've been worrying about could turn out to be less serious than you thought. Or something you assumed was impossible may suddenly become possible. This is why flexibility matters. Don't decide the ending before the story has finished. Cancer, You are entering a period where your emotional strength is becoming more important than your ability to control everything. You cannot control how people behave. You cannot control every financial outcome. You cannot control every career decision. But you can control your response. And that is where your power is. August 11th may give you an opportunity to respond differently than you would have in the past. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause. Instead of chasing someone, you wait. Instead of worrying about money, you make a plan. Instead of assuming rejection, you ask for clarity. These small changes may seem ordinary, but they can completely transform your life over time. There is also a beautiful message about your future. Something you have been hoping for may still be possible. The delay does not necessarily mean denial. Sometimes timing has to change before the opportunity can arrive. You may not understand why something didn't happen when you wanted it to. But later you may be grateful, because perhaps you weren't ready. Perhaps the other person wasn't ready. Perhaps the circumstances weren't right. Or perhaps something better needed to appear first. Trust that possibility. As the evening approaches, you may find yourself thinking about one particular area of your life. You may ask, am I really happy? Am I where I want to be? Is this relationship giving me what I need? Am I being paid what I'm worth? Am I protecting my own future? Don't be afraid of those questions. They aren't signs that something is wrong. They are signs that you're growing. Cancer, your future doesn't need to be decided in one day. You don't need every answer. You simply need enough courage to take the next honest step. Maybe that means updating your resume. Maybe it means creating a budget. Maybe it means having an uncomfortable conversation. Maybe it means finally letting someone go. Or maybe it means giving someone new a chance. Whatever your next step is, make sure it belongs to you. Not to your fear. Not to someone else's expectations. To you. There is one final message from the tarot for Cancer on August 11th. Something unexpected may happen, but don't assume that unexpected means bad. A surprise message could bring relief. A changed plan could create an opportunity. A delayed payment could finally arrive. A difficult conversation could bring emotional freedom. A career setback could redirect you toward something better. Life doesn't always explain itself immediately. Sometimes you understand the meaning only afterward. So don't panic when the day doesn't go exactly according to plan. Stay open. Stay observant. Stay grounded. And remember how far you've already come. Cancer, you've survived emotional seasons that once felt impossible. You've carried responsibilities that nobody else knew about. You've smiled while dealing with things privately. You've continued even when you didn't feel strong. Don't underestimate that strength. August 11th may not give you every answer you've been waiting for, but it can give you something equally valuable: clearer heart, calmer mind, and a stronger sense of direction. Your career can move forward. Your finances can become more stable. Your relationships can become more honest. And your emotional life can become lighter. But the first step is allowing yourself to believe that you deserve these things. You don't have to earn love by suffering. You don't have to prove your worth by exhausting yourself. You don't have to carry everyone else's problems. And you don't have to stay in situations that continuously drain you. Choose peace when you can. Choose honesty when you need to. And choose yourself when the situation requires it. August 11th carries a quiet but powerful message for Cancer. Something is changing. Something is being revealed. And something you've been waiting for may be closer than you think. Pay attention to the unexpected. Listen to your intuition. Protect your money. Be honest about your career. And most importantly, don't ignore what your heart has been trying to tell you. The next chapter doesn't need to arrive all at once. Can begin with one message, one decision, one conversation, one brave moment. And Cancer, that moment may be closer than you realize.